What's up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Abby's Abode, and it's gonna be a lot. There's a lot to go over, but we're glad to be able to do it, and glad that you all are joining us. So thank you all. As we always do, we got to welcome in Abby herself, Jody. Jody, how are you?
I'm okay. We're
Got you. I
gonna leave it. I'll leave it there.
got you. I understand.
Mhm.
And I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Let's see who we've got here. We got Jeremy Dunderman, who's a member of the channel. Thank you, Jeremy. Clown, Dylan, Joe, Eric. What's up, Eric? Deanna, Tazzy is in the house, and more of my life 850. What's up? Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. If you don't mind, folks, while you're here, please drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. And second, please subscribe if you like what you're hearing and seeing today. So, as we do, Jody, for those who are new, we start each episode off with a bit of music, and in the form of Caleb's Corner. So, um, you had a big weekend,
I
and
did.
I will turn it over to you. You let me know if you want me to play the video at the end of everything or if you want me to play it now.
Um, you can go ahead and play it now. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So we will play a short video for you all, and then we'll be right back.
And I would do anything for love. I'd run into hell and back. Oh, I would do anything for love. I never lied.
There you go. So you got to go to a show this weekend, and I'm gonna shut up so you can talk all about it.
I don't know what it is about that man's voice. It just makes me smile every time. It just does. It don't matter what he's singing. It just instantly brings a smile to my face. It's something that Bray was also very good at doing. Anything dealing with Bray instantly brought a smile to my face. So not only did we drove 6 hours each way up to northern Michigan. There goes my husband's eye roll. To see the Celebrating Meat Loaf show, and met some new friends, as you see there on the left picture, but also got to take my daughter Harper with me. She has never been to a Celebrating Meat Loaf show. Obviously, she has met Caleb before, as have my husband and my other kids, at one of his shows, but she has never been to a Celebrating Meat Loaf show before. So it was her first bat show. I mean, just watching her face throughout the entire thing just made the experience for me.
I'm just gonna skip to it.
So, yes, Caleb handed her a drumstick, kind of singled her out. And he did know that it was her first bat show and that we were going to be there. And I think she died and went to heaven. Like that entire time, she was she knew all the songs, which, for an 11-year-old knowing all of those Meat Loaf songs, that's pretty impressive.
That is.
She was singing and dancing. Like, she was more energetic than I was. So, it was a great show. First time that I've seen him live since Wyndham passed, and it was nice to be able to get that little moment and be able to see him. He obviously did his run around the venue during one of the songs and gave Harper a hug, gave me a hug. you know, he has a wonderful voice. He's a joy to be around and a joy to see. Obviously, Paul Crook there shredding that guitar. That guitar's seen some wear and tear for sure. But nobody does it better than he does. So yeah, I mean, it was just a great show. They're so much fun to see live. She wants to go to more, and I'm more than happy to take her.
There you go.
I'm sure she was going to be able to go because I was actually in a casino, and Michigan, you have to be 18 to be out on the gaming floor. So I didn't know if she was going to be able to go or not because she was so bummed that she wasn't going to be able to. I was going to go with a coworker. She ended up not being able to go, and I had this extra ticket, and I was like, I don't know. So we were talking about maybe all of us going, and then me and Chris going to the show, and them staying in the hotel. So anyway, my husband ended up seeing on the event page that, you know, events were recommended, you know, 18 and older. So I said, you know what, let me just call them. So I called them and I said, you know, are people under 18 able to go to the venue and actually to the concerts? And they were like, oh yeah, they just can't go out on the gaming floor, you know, until they're 18. And I was like, oh, because it is actually a resort too. So I was like, okay, well, so we kind of got to walk through the casino a little bit. So she did get to see what some casino games look like, which, you know, they're very colorful and bright and make lots of noise. So yeah, she had a great time. And again, that picture right there, just, it made the whole experience for me. Because she was
it's such an awesome picture. I had to show it twice. So
yeah, we did hang around afterwards. Paul did come out. Logan had painted a picture for Caleb that was really, really sweet. So I asked Paul if he would give it to Caleb for me, and he took it and said absolutely. He looked at it and he said, that's so awesome. And he was like, yeah, I'll give it to him. And she actually got 2 people from the band to sign that drumstick, which is something I haven't done. You know, Caleb did give me a couple of drumsticks throughout the course of going to all these shows, but yeah, she now has 2 autographs on it. One from Paul, who's not the easiest one to get to meet and get that from, and one from Ed. So yeah, she wants to get them all to sign it at some point.
That's awesome.
It was great.
That's awesome. So awesome. And I'll just kind of scroll through these real quick. And
they're going on tour in the UK and just announced a new date today. They are going to be in Atlantic City at the Borgata Hotel. The way that was actually one of the last shows that I went to. Me and my friend Karen went all the way to Atlantic City to the Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa. Fantastic venue. The Borgata is absolutely beautiful. The venue is beautiful. I mean, could not speak more highly of the Borgata Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. So new show announcement there, August 9th. So if you're in the Atlantic City area, make sure you go check them out. You will not regret it. Oh, so I took that picture and I just said, let me play around. I like to play around with editing a little bit. So I decided to edit it a little bit, make it almost black and white, but not quite. You know, we had the best seat in the house. It was great to be that close to him again.
Awesome. Glad you both had fun. Sounds like it was an awesome time, and the video was awesome. As we do, we discuss professional wrestling, and we got a lot to discuss. And I asked everyone in the chat, and I know there's a lot of rumors, reports out there, but I've asked the chat, and I want to ask you the same, Jody. Who do you think will be the Wyatt 6? Despite what we've heard, what the reports are, rumors, who do you think will be in that group?
I think Wyndham will be like the sixth person in terms of that spiritual connection. So I think it'll be 5 people that get added to it. Obviously, Uncle Harry Taylor being one. I could definitely see Joe Gacy being part of it. I could see Eric Rowan being part of it. I could see Alexa coming back and being part of it. I know there's a lot of rumors flying around about Nikki Cross and Dexter Loomis. Given the clues and some of the QR code stuff that we've been getting, it wouldn't surprise me if Nikki and Dexter Loomis were in it. I think we're all just chomping at the bit. It's everything's super, super deep. There's so many levels to it.
Yeah.
But we're also ready to get to see where this is going.
How important do you think it'll be for fans to be patient during this rollout and process?
Incredibly important. I mean, that was something Bray taught us a long time ago. You know, he said a long time ago that, you know, patience is a virtue, and it's something that today's generation and today's culture does not know how to do. Not very well. Perfect example. Harper had a hard time standing still for 45 minutes waiting for the show to start once they opened the doors. She was like, play a game on your phone. I'm like, no, just chill for 45 minutes until the show starts. I'm bored. So it's something that people don't know how to do anymore, is to just wait.
Yeah.
And let things, don't be in a rush to do anything. We're surrounded by instant gratification all the time. And the kids are the worst at it. I mean, I know it's not just my kids that they seem to like, they cannot live without being entertained all the time.
Right.
You know, their battery dies on their tablet. They're freaking out. I'm bored.
Yeah.
What? Read a book. Go play outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're always like this. And so it's something that it's a lost virtue. You know, and I think it's a big part of why we see so much more prevalence of, you know, ADHD and ADD and autism and things that were rare 40 years ago. And I think that's a huge part of it, is because people don't know how to be silent and just wait.
There used to be an old saying that you have to let things marinate. You got to let it marinate.
Yes.
That's
what slow cookers do. Like,
exactly. You gotta let it marinate just a little bit. Just a little
marination adds flavor.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you know,
that's right.
You can't cook a steak in 2 minutes. You can't cook a pot roast in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes hours. You know, that's what smokers do. Like, hours of just, yeah.
We got a QR code, and I want to start with this picture because there's a bunch of numbers here. Anyone have any ideas?
I mean, I've been staring at those numbers in the middle for hours, and you know, there are correspondence to, obviously they're file sizes. I think we figured that out, but they also, if you plug them into, people have plugged them into the RGB color codes and come up with different colors, and the hexagon colors, and you know, a lot of them are, if you do it that way, I went through and did it all. A lot of them come up like green or blue or purple. So I didn't really see a pattern, you know, plugging them into the RGB codes. I have tried a bazillion different like cryptogram decoders, different styles, different and nobody can figure this out. Obviously they're all attached to pictures, but the numbers in the middle they're hurting my brain. And you could say that they're just file sizes.
Yeah.
But given
I love the fact that the folder name is door.
Yeah.
Like door. That's
It
the
makes me wonder what other files
right.
are there. Are we going to see other folders?
Exactly.
The only other thing I thought today, and it reminded me of National Treasure. And remember how they were talking about decoding ciphers and them being in a book. And, the first being the chapter, the page, the line, the page, the line number, and even down to the letter. So that was the only other idea I had about maybe trying to look at that versus Dante's Inferno and see if there's any correlation there. Could also put it to the Bible and see if there's any correlations there. At the end of the day, they could just be file sizes, but maybe we're looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah. Maybe so.
I don't know. The pictures did say we're not looking hard enough, I think the picture was. So
Deanna brings in a good segue because we saw a familiar face too in all of this.
We did.
And I want to bring that face up on the screen right now. What did you think about this callback?
I saw that picture and it was literally the first thing that popped in my head. And I said it to Chris and I said, that's a psychiatrist. And he was like, what psychiatrist? I'm like, the one from the promo with the Fiend. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the one with the promo with the Fiend where she's talking. And he was like, oh. And yeah, the second I saw that picture, I'm like, that looks like that psychiatrist that did that thing with the Fiend. And that was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, it may not be the same actress. It might be a different actress because she looks slightly different, obviously. But, she's wearing the glasses. It talked about her seeing patients in her home. Obviously, she's a psychiatrist. Yeah, so that was instantly, I was like, that's a psychiatrist. And that was the only thing that's ever stuck in my head. And I was DMing with Alicia a lot last night because she was, the psychiatrist's name was Rachel Bonetta. But obviously there's a blacked out piece on this news article. So she had been doing some work taking the blacked out marks off of the other psychiatrist files that we saw that were all blacked out, and the was it the death certificate that we got?
Mm-hmm.
She was doing a lot of work trying to remove that black mark, and she did amazing work. So I said, hey, I wonder if we can do it with this, if we can figure out how to remove and figure out. Obviously, they're hiding the person's name.
Right.
But I wonder if they're hiding the name because it would make it too obvious that that's the callback to Rachel, the psychiatrist. You know what I mean? That it made us have to do some thinking and some digging and all of that. So we weren't able, I tried with some editing and stuff too, weren't able to remove that black mark, but she did come up with an interesting, she darkened it a lot and came up with this really interesting look to it, and it looked like there's fireflies on it, and then the picture of the psychiatrist made her look a little bit like a witch and kind of look like one of the old pictures of the promo that we got with the silver looking figure, and kind of reminded me of the swamp match when Alexa had the black veil on. So I don't know, like there's something to that. Obviously the notes that were left, obviously they're seeming to think that they were left in her house and something happened to her. Obviously we know that she disappeared because she brought out a fox puppet and seemingly kind of pissed the fiend off. So, she disappeared. But how, it's also interesting. The person who wrote it was Wendy somebody. Anyway, it's an anagram for Uncle Howdy if you re-scramble the letters. So like I said, there's so many layers and details to it that, I mean, I still have to think if Bray wrote this all down somewhere.
Genius.
Or he told Taylor all about it. Like, it has to be, a lot of this has to be more than, I don't want to say this wrong, more than Taylor trying to do what he thought Bray would have done. I feel like there's more to it than that. It's almost like this is what Bray would have done. And he's kind of playing it out for us.
Maybe he had the inspiration written down.
Yes, which makes me think maybe Bray wrote this all down somewhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Or they talked about it, or talked about different directions that it could go in and things that they could do. So,
yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, Alexa Bliss Gamer is asking, and this is an interesting point, I wonder if Rachel Bonetta is the blonde hair on the floor.
It's possible, but to me, it looked like dog hair. It looked like it was hair that was on the floor. And I think I immediately thought of dog hair, because I have a dog, and I know that Wyndham has dogs.
Okay.
So Deanna, I wonder that too. Like if Jason and Taylor have been like just kind of spitballing ideas back and forth. Obviously, Rob Fee being involved too, because he randomly liked one of my tweets about the QR codes, and so I messaged him and I said, "You guys are hurting my brain," and all I got was laughing emojis. Because it's kind of random for Rob Fee to like. I mean, he does follow me, but it's still kind of random for him to like a tweet that he's not tagged in. So he had to have been going to look for stuff.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go through some of these because we got.
I don't know, but I thought it was funny that I was like, you guys are really hurting.
That's hilarious.
There's 20 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. So smiley face. Everybody instantly thinks of Joe Gacy. Funny thing to note though, green shirt guy posted on Twitter this picture and put a smiley face. So I retweeted it because I just thought it was hilarious. And I said, green shirt guy is Uncle Howdy, confirmed, because that's how people get sometimes. But so I just thought that was too funny to not joke about. But yes, a lot of people saying, comparing it to a picture Alexa posted of, with her floors. It's possible. But also you have to think, I could say, well, those look just like my floors. that's a pretty common
Common flooring. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty common flooring. Because our floors look just like that too. So I did it. It was me.
I was going to say, are you admitting that you
Yep, I did it. It's all me.
you're the mastermind behind all this?
Yep, it's all me. I'm not really working in dialysis all the time. The reason I've been MIA is because I've been doing all this. No. But I do love these little notes. It does feel very feminine, if that makes sense, because women are generally the ones to have these little journals that have little pages like that, if that makes sense. So it would lead me to kind of lean towards Alexa, but it's possible that it's Taylor throwing everybody off, but typically, women are the ones that kind of have these little notes like this, that have little journals, especially the journal that we'll see later. It could have come from the doctor's notebook and then, somebody grabbed papers out of it. Definitely true. It's in her house. So that's a good point. So this one says, do you want to meet them? Smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely leading you to think that these are several people.
All right. Am I seeing things, or is there another smiley face
It's
in the
almost
right-hand corner?
It's almost like an imprint.
Right.
Of the one previously.
But let's think. So didn't Joe Gacy at one point have smiley faces on his
He did.
gear?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So yeah. So, and it was interesting to me. It's interesting that you said it looked, the handwriting, how it looked, because I almost got the impression of it being childlike.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I don't know, but to me, that's the impression that I got with some of these.
Yes. And children sometimes do write in all caps like that. I mean, there's a lot to dig into when it comes to people's handwriting. I mean, handwriting tells a lot about a person. It's hard to fake. And it is almost, Abigail.
Right.
Like the doll. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This next picture says, I set them free, with another smiley face.
Yes. I set them free. And so they're taking credit for setting them free, but setting who free? And the thing I keep going back to in my head that it's almost like a push in my head is that pitch black match, how I said we're on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
And the puppets came to life. So are we going to get the Firefly Funhouse literally come to life?
I know we've talked about that in the past, and that's a very interesting concept for sure.
Because they would be the people that were set free by opening the door.
Yeah. And again, I mean, maybe this is a very minor detail, but I keep going back to all those files and the folder being named door. Mm-hmm. We're going to get something about the door in this reveal.
Mm-hmm. And even when Bray, came out, he came through a door. Almost like he was showing us that we were going through the funhouse door.
Yeah.
That we're on the other side of the door.
Right. This note here.
Yeah. And obviously we've seen this too. There's a lot in this one.
Yeah.
There's also like little marks on the pages. sometimes. And it's almost like someone trying to make sure the pen's working before they write something, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He did say that, Deanna, that he wasn't responsible for what came through the door.
Yep.
So I reminded him of who he was. I showed him his lies. Now he shows me his vision. It is beautiful. And this is when I go back to all of that time that Howdy called Bray a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thinking that Bray is going to be that sixth person, that sixth invisible person. Now he shows me his vision. So is Bray going to be a large influence in this story going forward in terms of it being his vision?
Yeah.
And obviously, if it's his vision, it is beautiful because he was a beautiful person. So, and again, that makes me wonder if he did show someone his vision.
Right.
So,
right. Because, I mean, this note, it stood out to me the most because, again, and I'm assuming this is Howdy taking credit for, setting them free, and him saying, okay, I reminded him of who he was. Now he's showing me his vision. Like I'm thinking that if what I'm thinking, it is. I mean, if what I'm thinking they're going to do is like you said, have Bray be that spiritual inspiration, still having his story, his vision play out through others.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be well done. I'm very I'm optimistic about it. James says maybe on the night of King and Queen of the Ring, there's a QR code of a video where a door opens, which then turns into a live vignette into them entering the arena while thinking, yeah, that would be cool. I agree with Chris there. That would be awesome.
I think I would pass out. But yeah, anytime we did see this in an earlier vignette too, with a note on the floor that says, was it remember who you are? When it was going up to the house that looked like the old Wyatt family compound, there was a note on the ground that said, remember who you are. So, and again, I just immediately think of the Lion King where remember who you are. I have always been. So this is a cute little throwback to something that Bray said several times, that he always will be, he always has been, that he's forever. And I think we're going to see that actually play out, that he will be around forever. And they said that in the documentary, if I'm not mistaken, that his words will live on forever. So they were trapped. I showed them how to open the door. So it's a little but is that a little contradictory? Because earlier, wasn't he taking credit for opening the door?
That's true.
But now you're saying you showed them how to open the door? Is there another door?
Or is what he means by showing them how to open the door, allowing them to go back and forth?
So I opened it initially, they can open and close it.
Yeah.
That's another thing to think. If they open the door, who can close it?
Right.
Or is there more than one door?
Right. Is there more than one door?
They were trapped. Obviously, this is the Nightbird drawing.
Yeah.
Again, on the floor. They're kind of like sprawled around,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little chaotic, which is nice.
Yeah.
You have to look deep into these photos, as in there's somebody's knee at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And you really you have to look at every single corner, everything. But there is somebody's knee at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody noticed that.
I did. I was like trying to zoom in and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And
Yes, there was one where you could see the shape of a person in the metal of the chair.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I'm like, that kind of looks like a male, like a bigger person. And Chris couldn't see it, but I'm like, there's a figure right there in the but that's, this one too. If you look at the top corner, everybody was looking at this hair, but if you look in the other top corner, there's something red,
Mm-hmm.
which could be blood. If you have to ask what you aren't seeing, then you aren't looking.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely make out. It looks like shoulders or a figure, but it's red. You can make that out.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you don't see it, do you? Again, there's something up there in the corner, but it's blurry enough that you can't really make out what it is.
Yep.
And I remember us doing this with Kyle's photos.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you want to know?
Everything. We want to know everything.
You can see someone's sock. Yeah.
Yep.
I am all of us. So we've heard Howdy say that before. In that last big Firefly Funhouse episode we got with the Funhouse news.
Yeah. James saying, imagine this at the end of the show, the lights go out and all you hear is Bray's voice saying we're here. Then Wyatt family theme plays, lights come back on. Howdy is in Bray's rocking chair, everyone with him. That would be woo.
I think I would cry.
Yeah, that would be an emotional moment for sure.
Do you see I am already free? That's a bigger piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe they ran out of the diary or the journal or whatever it was.
That.
Yeah, this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like that's obviously what they were pulling from. And like I said, it just felt kind of feminine to me because, most of the time it's women that have little journals like that. But if this was in the psychiatrist's house and she was a woman, there you go. It's something. So that's all of these Pluto symbols again. And something interesting to remember about Pluto is that it was technically kind of removed from the solar system. It was always part circle.
Yeah.
Bottom of the art. Oh, Alicia's telling me a bottom of the article is a circle when you darken it. That's cool. So yeah, Pluto was part of the group, so to speak, and was removed because it was different. It was on a slightly different axis and therefore was removed. It's not considered a planet anymore. So that could come into play a little bit later too. So this is the one where I was zooming in on the metal on the armchair because it looks like a figure
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't make out who it is, but it definitely looks like a person.
Yeah.
And there is obviously more to these pages that I'm curious to see. Maybe we will see the other side. So how are you doing? I crawled out of the cave so I could set them free. Again, first you're saying you set them free, then you showed them how to open the door. Now you're saying you set them free. You know, which is it? Is Howdy really the liar?
I was going to ask you that question: is Howdy the liar?
And
I
it's
was
not-
going to also ask you this question too. What if these are the writings of the other side of Howdy? If there's another side that we see before, like I don't know. I have to. It just popped in my head. I'm gonna have to formulate it and I'll send it. But yeah, this is so deep. Like it's so crazy that how deep this is and how well thought out this all is. And again, I'm gonna find a way to unblur that, and I'm gonna figure out what that is. Because it's someone.
It is a person. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And a Bray David and Bray promo, he did talk about who's the liar. So who is the liar? Was Howdy the liar all along?
All along, yeah.
If you think about this classic battle of good versus evil, and Bray talking about how he had, you know, those people within himself, and he was fighting the urges, and you know, Kyle telling us and it being in the documentary that he wanted to be himself, but be able to play different characters and different personalities, so to speak, and everybody kind of having this classic good versus evil. If you look at this as Howdy being the evil and Wyndham being the good, then Howdy would be the ultimate deceiver. He would be the liar. Because if you think about the classic biblical story, you know, you've got Satan and you've got God. Satan is the ultimate deceiver. He's the ultimate liar, but he can also masquerade as people he isn't. You think that he's somebody else.
That's deep.
And I remember, and credit to my husband for this, he showed me something on TikTok about the movie Bruce Almighty. And this is going to sound totally unrelated right now, but it'll circle back about, was Bruce really meeting God? Because the building that he goes to go to the 7th floor, you see the outside of it, it only has 6 floors. So does he go up to the 6th floor and meet the devil parading and presenting himself as God? Because that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be God. So, and then when Bruce left, he gave him, you know, he had all this quote unquote power of God. And, you know, he kind of took it to a dark place. And then in the end, kind of figured out. And in the end, when he got hit by the truck, spoiler alert, and then actually did meet God in the end of it, you know, was it really not God that whole time? And it reminds you that biblical story about Job, that nothing can happen to us without God's permission, so to speak, first. And he gave Satan permission to do all these things to Job. You know, he took everything away from him. He gave him, you know, sores and boils. And, you know, it was this conversation between God and Satan, like, do whatever you want to him, just don't kill him. So if Howdy is the evil person, then he would be able to masquerade himself to make us think that he's somebody that he's not. So if he is the evil person, he would be the ultimate liar and would be pulling us down these rabbit holes to distract us from what's really going on. If that makes sense. That was a little deep.
That was very deep. That was very deep. I'm telling you now, I am using the assistance of AI while we're talking here to help me with this image, and I just about got it. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. So then we get this.
Yes. How do you show us what he wants us to see?
Odin's son says, are the underlying words and letters a scrambled message or something? On which?
Oh, on the questions.
On the question. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it was just like a separation onto the next question. Maybe each person answering the question is a different person.
Yeah.
Yikes. If we are truly getting 6 different people, maybe each person that answers that question is a different person. I'm trying to find Eric's page because
that's an interesting question.
What?
James says, do you think we will get an answer to what that version of Alexa was at WrestleMania 37, or do you think that'll just be forgotten about?
I think there was part of it that kind of got explained in the documentary about her turning on him, or did Kyle tell us that? I don't remember. But we're basically told that it was that she turned on him. I don't remember where we heard that from. But I remember hearing it from somewhere. I'm trying to find Eric. If you're in the chat, can you send me a picture of the picture that Bray autographed for you that he wrote on? Because part of me also wonders if that's possibly Bray's handwriting.
I was gonna mention that.
And we're just now seeing it. But I'm trying to find the picture of.
Oh, so EJ Movement is saying when you download the photos, they have secret messages in them when you go to photo properties.
Yeah, I kind of started seeing some of that today.
Okay.
I know one of them was to be sentient, which was a tweet that Bray had mentioned a few years ago. Another one was Firefly Funhouse, but it was the letters were all scrambled up. Another one was Erwin R, obviously for his dad. One of them was I brought them to life. Another one was Dexter, Nikki Cross, Eric Rowan's, and Joe Gacy's birthdays. Another one was You Killed the World, I Didn't Forget. Another one was We're Days No More. And then number 19 was Things You Might Have Missed. So congratulations. See, you definitely earned that one.
Yeah. TJ saying, okay. He said, great to see you. Great to see you too, TJ. Thank you for joining us. Saying, got off work earlier today. Could each of the messages add up to a paragraph from either Howdy or Alexa before the eventual debut?
That's definitely possible. each of the messages add up to a paragraph. I mean, that's definitely possible too.
See, now you're gonna TJ. Now you're gonna have me putting all of these together and trying to formulate a coherent paragraph. So,
I
thank
mean,
you.
some of them have been from other like works and songs, and you know, so it's possible.
That's true. So let's see. We'll go to the next photo. So this is the book. This is the journal.
Yes, fireflies in the
Yeah.
woods. But there's also a tiny little number 18 or 81. It depends on which direction you want to hold the journal.
Thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is from one of the older promos.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find this dang picture. There it is.
You got it.
So, see that it could be Bray's handwriting.
You want to show it on? All right. Gonna make your screen so folks can see that.
It could,
Yeah.
it could be.
It very well could be.
I mean, he writes a little chaotic like that, you know, sometimes in caps, sometimes in not. Like, I don't know. I love this one because there's so much in it that you're like, what the heck am I supposed to be looking at? There's a cable, there's a Mockin hard drive or whatever it's called. There's 2 floppy disks, which if you are under the age of 30, you will not know what those are.
Yep, exactly.
This is what us old folk used to store files on. You know, this was before CDs and DVDs and you know, this is how we saved things. We didn't have massive hard drives that we could just, or clouds that we could just save things on. We had to save it on a floppy disk.
Yeah, and listen, there was no 128 gigabyte. There was like,
look at that. That's 1.4 megs.
Yeah, 1.4. There's no such thing as a 16 gig anything. Not at all.
There's an interesting point. I wonder if those are file sizes under the door. Do they exceed 1.4 megs? That they would have to be put on a second disk, which obviously is in the picture. Or is it less than 1.44 megs? And the other disk is going to be another file.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like if the first 20 fit on the green one, then maybe there's another 20 on the red one that we haven't seen that yet. And obviously there's a thumb drive there too.
Yeah.
There's a tripod. Looks like there's a tripod with a selfie button, and really blows their mind to talk about dial-up internet. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, yeah.
Nothing was instant.
No.
Back in our day, and in order to use the internet, you had to have a hardwired phone line.
Yeah.
And if someone picked up the phone while you were on the internet, you got kicked off.
Got to start over, folks.
And it took a good, 2 minutes to actually get it to log on?
Yeah.
Oh, good old days.
Yeah. The good old days. Jeremy brings up a good point, and I wanted to bring attention to it, but I had forgotten to do it. And Jeremy, thank you so much. But Jeremy said, let's not forget the commentary commented on the QR code for the first time, they acknowledged the QR codes.
They did.
They said, "What is that?" So
there goes that glitch again or whatever.
Yeah. What did folks think about that? I thought that was pretty cool that they brought attention to that.
Mm-hmm. I think that kind of tells us that we're getting closer.
Yeah.
Because
think so.
things are getting a little bit more chaotic.
Yeah.
The closer we get. Like this QR code was very chaotic.
There's
so much going on, and I think they're going to get more chaotic.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, in the arena when they're playing that Nightbird song, the glitches on the television and the screens are getting more chaotic, and the song is getting a little bit more broken and more chaotic.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know on here there's a date. It says 5/26/24.
Mm-hmm. If you add those numbers up, you get 666.
And that's also Thursday.
It is.
And it says 4 p.m.
And then it says Twitch. Which I give credit to my husband on this too. I didn't see it at first. I'm like, Twitch, what? I just saw Witch and I thought Abby.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen at 4 p.m. with Abby? I'll be at work. Actually, it's Thursday. Yeah. So I won't be at work. But I won't be doing anything at 4 o'clock, I promise. Except apparently now watching Twitch.
Yeah. And I think it's done though to throw you off, because I think it's supposed to represent a witch, evil on the right, and then the T represents a cross, good on the left. So,
and then we'll be at the track. That's right. And then the top with the numbers adding up to 666 as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, Pat McAfee did say that he scanned the one from last week and led him down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I remember life before internet computer. Yes.
Oh my God.
Jeremy, when like you just, you played outside or you read a book or like, that life actually existed outside of screens.
Yeah. Yep.
I was thinking about this yesterday. Technology's been so great in so many ways, especially in the field of medicine, but there's been a lot of negatives. And we are so close to WALL-E, except we're not in space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obesity has risen in the past 40 years. All the like I said earlier, the ADHD, the ADD, and people needing to be constantly entertained and constantly surrounded by noise. All of that changed and got worse, I feel like, when screens were invented.
Yeah.
So, and now they came out with those new, is it the new Apple goggle things that, you don't even need to exist outside of your own bubble because everything's right in front of you. Mm-hmm. So it's, you have to learn how to limit it, and adults aren't good at it either. It's not just the kids. Right. No, it's not. That's why I feel like it's important every now and then to disconnect.
Yes.
And, disappear somewhere for a couple of days and actually experience what silence so quiet that it hurts your ears, what that really sounds like.
Yeah. Want to show these last couple.
Eventually you'll crave it.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Me, it's like maybe like once every 3 months. I'm like, I just need nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's noise around me all the time. Like, Work is always very noisy because I work in dialysis. The machines are alarming. It's noisy. I come home. I have kids. Noisy all the time. So every now and then, like, I crave that. I just need to be by myself in the middle of the woods in a log cabin with no noise. So yes, the previous picture with the article that this is what Alicia had made dark, and I can see now she sent me another picture of it, like the bottom of it there's a circle. I see it now, Alicia. And I was talking about how that picture now looks kind of like one of the old pictures that we got, but it also kind of looks like Alexa from the Swamp Match.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
So the page extension, it was like www.com/whatever it was. It was 12/12/12, which obviously 12/12/12 can mean multiple things. I know people have said that was the date that Eric Rowan debuted. In WWE. See, noise all the time. Eric Rowan debuted. It's 12 days until Queen of the Ring, and Chris found this that 12/12/12 is actually an angel number, that you're at a time when you're ready to start a new relationship or want to take an existing one to a deeper level. Which is also interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think 12/12/12 was also a conspiracy theory that the world was going to end that day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, see, boys. My kids, Logan. So Logan is 6. Harper is 11. They are in this moment and this mindset. They love to antagonize each other right now on purpose and really piss the other one off. And that's their favorite pastime right now. So I hear a lot of "shut up, Harper," or, yes, drive each other crazy, which in turn drives me crazy. Yeah. And like I said to Jeff prior to the start of the show, and if you don't agree with this, you're not a parent. You love them, but you don't like them all the time. You love them all the time, but you don't always like them. And that's just the reality of parenting.
They can be some they can be interesting, we'll say.
They will test every single ounce of patience you get.
Yeah. But like you said, love them every single moment.
You do.
Every single moment. Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, this was a deep dive episode, and really appreciate everyone chiming in with comments and everything. So, Jody, I'll turn it over to you for final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
You guys are awesome. Otis Son saying, "I love my kids. It doesn't mean my patience is the same." Exactly. Yeah. Oh, the fuzzy picture. Alicia sent it to me. It's one of the old pictures from the old promos, but you can see Uncle Howdy in it. It's possible for Seth Rollins to join the new faction. I think Seth's going to be out for a little while with this not necessarily injury, but given how he looked after Cody's WrestleMania match, I wouldn't expect him back anytime soon.
He needs a little bit of a break, because I'll be honest with you, Seth was the MVP there for quite a while.
Oh my goodness.
The amount of matches, just everything that he was doing. Yeah, he was the MVP, so he has earned some. He has some well-earned time off.
The torch has been passed a little bit, so let him take some R&R. But I wouldn't mind it. I think it's highly possible that Jey Uso might be their first target.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind that. I actually like that.
Because obviously France, is France. I mean, I'm British, so we all know how I feel about France. But they brought the Fireflies out for Jey Uso, and he said afterwards that it was a humbling moment, and then got really emotional. And then he posted something on Twitter, although I guess it could have been Jimmy parading as Jey, making us think Jay's a bad guy. But anyway, basically saying that we didn't have any choice. The Fireflies were his now. And then Fireflies came out again for him last night. But again, afterwards, he was interviewed and said again that he was very honored. And so given the tweet, I wouldn't be surprised, especially how much WWE is using social media now. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't surprise me if Jey was their first target. Or Deanna said it may not have been Jey, it was Jimmy causing chaos. Well, it could have been maybe
or
Jimmy.
Here's another thing. What if it's not Jimmy? What if it's someone trying to create this to go after him? One of the six.
He called himself the Eater of Worlds.
Yeah, he did.
Dead. So that tweet may come back into play at some point. Yeah. Deanna, somebody commented on it and said, why do you guys still share a Twitter account? Because it's still the Usos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So could be Jimmy causing chaos.
Could be.
Maybe Jimmy wants them to go after Jey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. The last question that
might come up again.
Last question we'll take for the episode. Will they be a heel or face faction?
I think they'll be like Bray and be a tweener.
Yeah.
That they'll be able to go up against, almost like mercenaries. You could, and this is going to be a horrible analogy, but you could make the argument was Jigsaw a heel or a face?
Mm-hmm.
Put people in situations where they have to value their life. So that's technically a good thing, but he went about it in the wrong way. So I think they could be something like that, like some kind of mercenary to get people to appreciate what they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say exactly what you said. I think it'd be good for them to be a tweener, and, that way, I mean, because listen, whether they're, defined heels or not, if they come out and they do a bunch of heel stuff, the crowd is still going to be behind them.
Yep.
You can't run from that if you're WWE. So I think they'll kind of straddle the fence a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll be a little bit of both. I think they'll go after heels and faces. I think that's probably, if you're doing it from a story standpoint, is probably better that way, that they go.
Mm-hmm.
Matter that much more.
Yeah, for sure. Deanna saying appreciate and remember who they are. Yeah, mm-hmm. I could see them, like I said, kind of being like a mercenary group where they're getting people to remember who they are and appreciate who they are.
Yep. Exactly. Well, that was a great discussion, folks. We greatly appreciate it. Jody, awesome episode. Thank you for all of the work and gathering all the stuff and doing that deep dive. And
Thank you for putting it all together.
hey, it's all good. Teamwork.
I sure couldn't.
Teamwork. So thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back on the channel on Thursday for TNA Wrestling watch along. And folks, we may have to do a quick video at some point, depending on if we do get something on Thursday. That might have to happen. But we'll keep you posted. You know, we'll let you know if
we might do something tonight.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have to happen at some point. So thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you for all of your thoughts, ideas, your fantasy booking, all of that good stuff. Thank you, and we will see you next time on Abby's Abode. Take care, everyone.